we have seen how easy it is to do CRUD with MongoDB using the tools. Now to the final part of our stage 1, that is the last question, how to load test data in MongoDB. Test data for our MongoDB can be loaded from 4 different sources, either from a CSV format or from data generators like generatedata.com, and using JavaScript, and finally using JSON format data. We'll be using two simple test databases provided by the MongoDB team. The first one is restaurant data. As you can see over here, the test database is explained. It's a restaurants collection with some ranking here similar to help service. So we'll be using this test data. The link for the JSON file is provided below. On clicking this, you'll be able to see the JSON file. So we'll be using this JSON file in our MongoDB to create a restaurants collection. Similarly, one more test database is provided by MongoDB team, that is places with zip details. This is the page where you can get that also. So place with some zip code is given here in the JSON format. So this JSON has city details. As you can see the data model over here. For this JSON, you can click this link available here. It gives you the zip codes JSON. So we'll be using these two JSON files in our MongoDB. So let me save them locally. And this is for restaurants. Now I'm going to use Mongo Booster to get this JSON file inside. I'll be using the Mongo import utility. So prior to that, let me create a database first. The first one is from MongoDB team. Importing is very easy. You can do this visually. So the document started importing. So it has successfully imported. This is a huge collection with around 25k documents in that. You can see the details here. And similarly, on keeping the cursor over here, you can read the details about this collection also. It has around 27,000 documents. We'll be using these two, and we'll be also using the Northwind database. One more thing, do remember that we can do the same import using the import command provided by MongoDB. I'll be showing that also later for a CSV file. This is Mongo import. You can use the same, or you can do it easily through the visual interface provided by Mongo Booster. Before proceeding further, let me view the contents. On table view, and on JSON view. And similarly for zips also. Table view, this is the one, and on JSON view also. We have successfully loaded the test data from MongoDB team, that is the restaurant and a zip a JSON file, and we got 2 collections. Now we have to load the data in CSV format. This is from GitHub. Somebody has cleverly and usefully exported the data into CSV format so that it can be used in MongoDB, and they have even mentioned the steps very clearly. Northwind database is a famous DB design from Microsoft. It is very simple. This is being used by many tools to demo their work. This is the CodePlex page for Northwind database, and you can see the database diagram here. This is very simple order processing application database diagram. There are 4 important things in this database diagram. The first one is product and categories. Second one is order details and the shippers information. The third one is employees, employee territories and regions. And the fourth one is customers and their customer demographics information. So as I said earlier, this is useful for a simple order processing application. We are going to load this one to our MongoDB. The developer Tristan has did a great job in exporting this in CSV format, and even he has explained here how to do a Mongo import, but this is for a Linux machine. For Windows, we'll be using the Mongo import command line. Let me download the file. I've extracted the zip file. Let me open a CSV file and show you the contents. For example, this is the territories.csv. The first line has a column names followed by the data. So do remember that the first line has column name. So this needs to be filtered out while we are importing the data to MongoDB. If you don't want to use Mongo import utility or the command line, you can easily use the NoSQL Manager tool to import the CSV data. That can be easily done through Tools menu, Import Data from File. On clicking this, there will be 2 options, CSV and JSON. If you select CSV and give the file name, it will be imported to the database and a collection will be created. So you can use NoSQL Manager if you don't want to use a command line, but we are going to use command line Mongo import. Mongo import command line documentation is available here. It's a very simple command. We need a database to import as well as a collection to be populated. So we need to specify both here. So database is specified using DB option and collection is specified using the -- collection option. Then we have to specify the file which is going to be imported and the type of file, because JSON is also supported. So you need to specify the file type and the file path. So that has been did here. As you can see, -- type CSV. So this says that this is going to be a CSV data, and the complete file path is given using the -- file option. And you need this header line, as I have mentioned earlier. The first column is, the first row is going to be the column name. So that needs to be filtered using -- header line. Again, I am repeating this. Mongo import command is very simple. As you can see, there are the first 2 options are for the collections and the database name. The next 2 is for the file type and the file path. And if you have column names mentioned in the first row, you need to specify with header line. So let me do this one for all the files present here. I'm going to replace this with this path, etemp MongoDB test data. And on executing on the command line, so I have to call the Mongo import utility. So I'll be shifting to that directory. Server bin, and I'm pasting this. Yes, it has successfully imported 53 documents. Let me cross verify that. So totally 54, and the first one is having the column name details. So 53. So 53 has been successfully imported here for the territories. So I'll be repeating the same steps for the other CSV files. I faced issues while importing employees.csv because of the double quotes. So I removed them and the documents got successfully replaced. So just use Notepad++ to replace the double quotes with empty character. So on clicking replace all, this issue will get solved. Let me see the imported data. So this is the north wind which got imported through command line. Categories we got, orders we got, products we got. So let me check the regions. So tabular structure, so 4 regions. I want to check the same whether it has imported properly or not. Yes, it seems the imports are successful. Now we have done with the JSON import as well as the CSV import. The next one is to use GenData to generate test data. I'll just show this one as well as how to use JavaScript to generate test data. Though there are many test data generators, I selected generate data because of its clear interface. It's free, though the online version has a restriction in the number of rows generated, but there is a free version which you can host on your local web server. We have been using this for more than our 7 projects, and it has a very cool feature that you can export to different programming languages also, like for example PHP. The data will get exported in array format. We are going to export the data in CSV format. So the first step is to set the dataset name. Country specific data. Let me select United States. This is not required, I just selected. I'm going to generate a personal details test data. Name is going to be of names, and the example is going to be the male name. Age is so number range, it's between 15 to 80. Phone. Phone or fax. Let me select the UK format. And similarly, company. The data type is going to be company here. I want to add a date column here. DOB. Date. The next step is to specify the delimiting character. I'm going for comma separated, and the file format is going to be JSON. Sorry, it's going to be CSV. I'm going to prompt it for download. I got the data generated. So this is the test data generated from DataGen, and as always I can easily import this data using NoSQL Manager. So I'll be using that now. Prior to that, I want to create a database. TestDB. This is from generate data. And I'm going to create a collection. Person. We are going to import data from file. It's a CSV file. It's under downloads. Next step. As you can see here, the data is listed here clearly in the NoSQL Manager tool. And on clicking next, the data type selection is given here. And on clicking next, either you can import to a new collection or you can go with the existing collection. I already created a collection named person. And let me execute this. So 100 documents imported. Let me check that. So db dot. There is a cool feature of IntelliSense. We are going to find all. Clicking execute. It's taking time. So this is the personal details collection we have created with 100 documents. Now we have seen how to generate data using generatedata.com. So the final one is to use the JavaScript. Let me create a test database for this. TestDB.js, and under the collection, dummy collection news. I got a dummy collection. Now using JavaScript, I'm going to insert some test data into this. That's quite easy. You just need to put a for loop over here and the insert statement under that. So in my case, it's I equal to 0, I less than 10,000, I plus plus. Here db dot dummy collection news dot insert. The semicolon here is optional. It's going to be title of the news is going to be Tesla 3 released. Come on. Views for this is 89997. That's it. On executing this, must get around 10,000 documents. Let me query this. As you can see here, we got test data populated from JavaScript. So what we have done is we made a for loop over the insert statement and then we have pressed execute. That's it. With this, we have seen all the 4 ways of populating data. We used JSON from the MongoDB team, zip and the restaurant details in JSON format. And for Northwind DB data, we got in CSV format from GitHub. Then we used generate data to generate around 100 rows. And finally, we have seen a simple example using JavaScript to populate test data. With this, we have successfully finished the stage 1 of our MongoDB learning. We have seen why MongoDB is important. We have seen the key features of MongoDB to focus it. We have seen how to install MongoDB. And we have seen what are the things in the installation package. Later we have seen about the core part of MongoDB, that is a JSON file format. Then we have seen about tools to learn MongoDB easily, Mongo Booster, NoSQL Manager, RoboMongo. We have seen about the basic CRUD operation in MongoDB, how to find document, update document, insert document and delete documents. Then we have seen how to load test data in MongoDB. With this, we have successfully finished stage 1 of our learning. Now let us move to the next one that is going to be very, very interesting.